I left Huckleberry with more courage.
It's the link between struggling families and a bright future.
It really grounded me. It made me feel like things will be okay.
At Huckleberry Youth Programs, we believe that every youth deserves a right to reach their full potential. And we know that adolescence can be a difficult time for all kinds of reasons. It's also the time of opportunity to really make a huge impact on the rest of somebody's life.
I think that my favorite aspect is just the people. I've definitely been able to create a relationship with my mentors here at Huckleberry. It feels very nice because I'm able to trust them.
We focus on 4 core areas. Having a safe place in times of crisis, focusing on physical and emotional health, being treated justly and decreasing involvement with the law, and being successful in their education endeavors.
Till this day, I am a great supporter of Huckleberry and the concept of advocating on behalf of young people.
I was 15 when I first came to Huckleberry House. Not having to worry about where I'm going to sleep next or when I'm going to eat next or how cold it is going to be outside is a relief for me.
Coming from a lower income background, because of all the issues we face, the family issues, the economic issues, all that definitely got to my circle of friends. Some of them dropped out, a lot of them went to juvenile hall and then ended up in prison. So noticing that pushed me to be the exception. Huckleberry helps you see through all the stereotypes, that you can be the first person to be something.
It's a terrible feeling to feel that you're alone, especially when you're 15 and running away. When you have all these problems that you feel like no one is understanding. It's important because it's an actual place where youth can go to when they don't feel very safe at home.
Having been a part of this academy has enabled my desire to help out my community. When I was younger, I started noticing unwanted attention and street harassment. I realized that the same experiences that happened to me when I was that age are still happening. So that's why I want to continue working with younger girls.
I was the first one to go into college. My parents did not finish high school. Now that I've graduated from San Francisco State, I do feel a huge difference in my family, just in terms of the joy they feel to say that they have a child that has a degree here in the United States, because they came from nothing.
Right now I'm studying clinical psychology. I realized how important it was to me because this part of my life, it's something that's still very heavy with me, and I want to advocate for the young people who can't.
When I first became a Huckleberry participant, I was really shy, a little immature, didn't necessarily know what I wanted. And now today I'm comfortable with the person I am. I'm a lot more outspoken. I came back to be a staff member at Huckleberry. I enjoyed just being able to be a support to younger youth than myself.
When Huckleberry starts to reach out and help some kid end up in college, end up going to school where they would not have gone to school, that kid may have walked in as a runaway, but that kid leaves as a complete person because somebody listened to what that kid had to say and made no judgment about that kid and helped that kid develop confidence and respect to reach their dreams.
Good evening and welcome to Rise Up for Youth and Family Rights. I'm Doug Stiles, the Executive Director of Huckleberry Youth Programs. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that Huckleberry operates on the unceded land of the Ohlone peoples and the coastal Miwok. Well, we really wish that we could be with you in person. However, we have an incredible evening planned for you of entertainment and inspirational stories, so that you can learn a little bit more about the impact that Huckleberry has in our community. 2020 has been an amazing year and a very difficult and challenging year, and so many things have changed. But one thing that remains the same is the passion and commitment that Huckleberry has to educate, inspire, and support young people so that they can reach their full potential. We have been doing this for over 50 years. In the San Francisco Bay Area, we were the first to establish a runaway youth shelter for young people in the entire country. We were the first to receive a CDC grant for HIV/AIDS education for young people in the entire country. And our Youth Justice Program, the Community Assessment and Resource Center, is a model across the country for youth justice reforms, and we are intimately involved in the current youth justice reforms that are happening in San Francisco. We believe that every young person has a right to a safe, healthy, just, and educated life. We know that that's not easy to do. Adolescence is a very challenging time, and there are many barriers to that success, and our communities of color have significant barriers to overcome. But we also know that adolescence is an incredible time of creativity, of inspiration, of passion, and of growth. And if we can tap into those qualities with young people and their families, we can create a stronger community together. So tonight, I am challenging you to rise up and support young people in our community. Finally, I would like to thank our sponsors for this evening. Without our sponsors, this would not be possible. So yes, you can applaud when I say the names of our sponsors. Our host sponsor is the Carol and Peter Friedman Foundation. Our platinum sponsor is Sutter Health CPMC. Our gold sponsors are Baker Bots, Diane Tressenfeld and Ed Waldrop, Dodge & Cox, and First Republic Bank. Our bronze sponsors are the Rotary Club of Tiburon Sunset and Town to Win. And finally, our supporting sponsor is the Golden State Warriors. Again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Please support our communities. Be safe and take care of each other. Good night.
Hi, I'm Mayor London Breed. I want to congratulate Huckleberry Youth Program on their 53rd anniversary. Since 1967, Huckleberry has been dedicated to supporting the safety, health, justice, and education of thousands of youth and their families. And for the past 2 decades, Huckleberry has been a leader in juvenile justice reform. I know the COVID-19 pandemic has not stopped them as they continue to offer services for our young people virtually. Your support will ensure that they can continue this incredible work. Stay safe and healthy, and together we will rise up to create a more equitable and just Bay Area community for all our young people.
Thank you, Mayor London Breed. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Huckleberry's virtual fall event, Rise Up for Youth and Families. Hi, everybody. I'm Jackson Bowman. I'm Huckleberry's Director of Health Services in San Francisco.
Hi, I'm Kisai Enriquez, Program Manager for Huckleberry's Project Ready. Thank you all for joining us tonight. As Doug said, we wish we could be with you in person, but we're going to bring the Huckleberry spirit directly to your home.
Absolutely. We're celebrating Huckleberry Youth Programs, a pioneer in the Bay Area social justice movement. For more than half a century, Huckleberry's programming has challenged the systemic barriers that so many of our youth and families encounter. From reforming the juvenile justice system and providing youth with an alternative to incarceration, to providing access to health care and educational opportunities, Huckleberry remains a leader in the fight for a more equitable Bay Area. And we thank you for continuing to rise up for Huckleberry's youth and families.
At Huckleberry, we believe all young people deserve safety, health, justice, and education in order to thrive and successfully transition into adulthood. Tonight, we'll share stories that reflect those fundamental pillars of our service, and you'll hear directly from the heart and soul of Huckleberry, our clients and staff.
Robin, a member of Huckleberry's Young Professionals Board, is going to share with you how Huckleberry House was able to provide her with access to safety when she was just 13 years old and her family was in crisis.
Hi, I'm Robin, a former Huckleberry client and a Huckleberry Young Professionals Board member. Our board is made up of young Bay Area professionals who want to get our generation involved in supporting our local youth. I was so excited when I first learned about this open board position because it was a chance for me to give back to an agency that I already cared so much about. This is because, as a San Francisco native, I used Huckleberry's services and actually stayed at Huckleberry's crisis shelter called Huckleberry House when I was a young teenager. At the time, my mother was really struggling with her mental health and would have frequent outbursts of violence that were usually directed toward me. And my dad was working overtime to keep a roof over our heads, and he was so afraid of losing me that he wouldn't tell the authorities what was going on at home. On top of that, I wasn't allowed to spend time with my peers or participate in after-school programs, so I felt quite alone. To find safety, I would run away and sleep in parks, outside of churches, or in this little stairwell near my apartment building where I could stay hidden. Needless to say, none of these places are ideal for a 13-year-old girl to be alone in San Francisco, scared at night. Fortunately, my dad learned about Huckleberry Youth programs and felt comfortable enough to reach out to them and tell them a little bit about what was going on. He arranged for me to stay there so that I wouldn't have to sleep on the streets anymore. I remember feeling very hesitant about this when we first did our initial intake, but after my dad left, the counselor brought me back to the community kitchen and had me get washed up and asked that I make a salad for dinner. I had never been asked to contribute at home to dinner before, so this already felt special to me. In the next few weeks, I received a lot of support from tutoring and therapy. I got an allowance of sorts and was encouraged to spend time with my peers. A counselor brought us all ice skating one weekend, and I gained this sense of both structure and family, as well as independence, that I had never experienced before. Staying at Huckleberry was really a reprieve for me, and once I went back home, they also made sure that my family and I had the services that we needed to improve our situation. But almost more important to me was that I gained this long-term sense of purpose and confidence after seeing how big of a difference a little safety, respect, and encouragement can make in a young person's life. Since then, I've achieved many of the dreams that I dreamed up when I was a young girl, from graduating UC Berkeley to traveling the world to starting my own company and helping others overcome their challenges so that they can achieve their dreams. And now, just being able to come full circle this way has really added a lot of meaning to my earlier difficulties. It feels really good to serve on Huckleberry's Young Professionals Board and help organize events and fundraisers like this one to share the importance of what Huckleberry does in our communities. It just feels nice to contribute in the same way that it did when I was 13 years old making a salad. So thank you all for being here.
Hi everyone, my name is Ricardo Alvarez. I'm the coordinator here at Huckleberry House and have been with Huckleberry Youth Programs for over 5 years. One of the many ways I think Huckleberry House rises up for young people and their families is by providing support to unaccompanied minors. And as many of you know, unaccompanied minors are young people that are leaving their countries on their own, seeking a better life, often fleeing violence. And once they get here, they are forced to act as an adult in a country that they know very little from, a country that they don't know the language, a country that they don't know the laws. And that is a very, very difficult thing to do, especially if you're on your own. And once they step in through our doors, they know that Huckleberry House is a safe place for them to to stay, to be heard, and to get connected to other community resources. But most importantly, I really feel like Huckleberry House allows them to feel and act like a kid again. They have been through so much that they often forget that they're children. And Huckleberry House lets them know that they're not alone, that there's so many people that care about them. And, I'm always amazed to see how resilient, how courageous these young people are. And I'm so proud to be part of Huckleberry House and to be part of the staff that has made a commitment to support and advocate for these young children.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Affel, pitcher from the 3-time World Series champions San Francisco Giants. And I'm here tonight to show my support for Huckleberry Youth Programs and their work in providing our youth with access to safety, health, justice, and education, both in San Francisco and Marin counties. You see, human trafficking is a serious issue in San Francisco. I've been personally fighting against human trafficking, and I know we can make a difference if we do it together. One of Huckleberry's most significant contributions in advancing safety and equity for youth is the establishment of the Huckleberry Advocacy and Response Team, a program for youth at risk for or experiencing commercial sexual exploitation. I encourage you to rise up for Bay Area youth tonight and make a donation in support of Huckleberry's programs. Thank you and have a great evening.
Hi, my name is Latifa Simon. I'm currently on the BART Board of Directors and an appointed trustee for the California State University System. In my day job, I run a foundation, the Akanadi Foundation, that funds social movements to move towards a more racially just community. And 27 years ago, I was a client in the Huckleberry Youth Programs. And I'm so proud to have linked up to an amazing organization that then and today has committed itself to creating space and place and opportunity and sanctuary for young people who are living on the streets, young people who are working in the underground street economy, young people who are having some of the most difficult times of their lives. Even then, Huckleberry was a space that lifted up a framework that we know all too well, harm reduction. It was a place where you could go when you had nowhere else to go. It was a place where you could meet amazing young people and adults who were committed to this thing that we call justice, this thing that we call safety. And now, in 2020, I look at what Huckleberry has done, expanding its programs, ensuring that as we face our current and newfound crises, that young people have a key, young people have an opportunity, young people have a sanctuary where they can not only go, but thrive. For every single young person who's connected with Huckleberry, I promise you the road won't be easy, but what I learned as a young person who was really struggling in the city and county of San Francisco, that no matter what I did, no matter how many mistakes that I made, there were loving arms waiting for me. Yeah, I was a young mother, and I think about my daughter now who is in law school, and I think about how many young people deserve everything. I think about Amina, and I think about other 22 and 23-year-olds who are desperately deserving of caring adults who want to see them through. I was in public housing when I was a young person and deeply struggling and in and out of high school. And it is who you meet in your worst times. It is the spaces that you go where you feel most powerful. Those are the spaces that you will remember for the rest of your life. And those were my experiences at Huckleberry. Congratulations, Huckleberry, on all that you do.
Thank you so much to Robin, Ricardo, Jeremy, and Latifa. Latifah was a client of Huckleberry's when she was a teenager, and she currently serves on the board of directors. Huckleberry is still here many years after Latifah accessed our services, providing mental health support that our young people need as they navigate the uncertainties of 2020. Huckleberry therapists have been here throughout the year, guiding youth and families through the stress of distance learning, COVID-19 anxiety, and trauma resulting from deep, destructive institutional racism that our communities of color have experienced for far too long.
Huckleberry is also a leading provider of health education workshops in San Francisco and Marin counties. For several decades, we've been deeply embedded in public, middle, and high schools, helping young people make positive, healthy life choices. Our health education workshops also serve as outreach for our clinics in San Francisco and Marin, which provide reproductive health care, mental health services, housing placements, substance use counseling for thousands of teens each year. Huckleberry believes that access to culturally competent mental health services is a right for our youth and families. We're going to show you how our Teen Tuesday Clinic in San Rafael continues to rise up for our youth in Marin County.
Hi, my name is Audrey Combs. I'm a family nurse practitioner at Marin Community Clinics, and I'm also I'm here as the teen clinic reproductive health provider for our Teen Tuesdays. I've been here for about 2.5 years doing our teen clinic, and I've worked in a number of reproductive health clinics, ones that are devoted towards teen care specifically, and Huckleberry is a really special place. They've been doing this for such a long time, and I really think do provide teen-centered care in a way that not many other organizations do. And I'm amazed sometimes at the feedback that I get from some of the teens that come in.
For years now, I have been stationed on site at the Teen Huckleberry Teen Tuesday Clinic. Every person that comes in to get services there is given a screening form where they're asked a series of questions about whether or not their relationship is healthy. If they check off certain boxes that actually are warning signs, then I can have the opportunity to pull them aside and meet with them privately and just check in with them. We're embedded right there in the community. So rather than having to rely on young people to call a hotline or reach out themselves, which we know young people don't always want to do because it can be really intimidating to just like call up and try to reach out to somebody. We're right there where they need us. They can come in to get their birth control method or get the Plan B pill, and at the same time they can also get support with so many other things. They can get the counseling support, they can get mental health support, they can talk to us about domestic violence issues. So over the years, you know, Center for Domestic Peace, Huckleberry, and Marin Community Clinics have partnered really effectively, I think, to make it so that there's just like a one-stop shop for teens. They can come into the clinic, and like I said, there's all these services available for them into one spot. They can get a referral for mental health, they can come see me, and then we can continue our services on the outside if needed. But it's just a really easy access point, which I think is super effective.
Depression, anxiety, relationship, communication issues are at the top of the list that teens encounter. It's a journey, and try to normalize, going to therapy is very important, especially in my community, Latino community, which a lot of the clients I serve come from Latino families, and where you're not allowed to talk about a lot of the emotions you're going through, and so I try to normalize that for them. Love seeing our youth empowered and know that they have choices and options and their voice matters, and then working for an agency like Huckleberry that believes that it's important for us to provide services around safety, health, education, and justice.
In my experience as a medical provider, which is kind of a unique sort of thing, I really am just so grateful for this place. I'm so grateful that the teens in Marin County have access to these services, and I hope we get to keep doing it for a really long time.
Hi, I am Isabel Allende, one of your local authors. I have known and supported Huckleberry Youth Programs for 17 years because of the extraordinary work they do with teenagers. In its workshops, teens learn how to prevent sexually transmitted diseases and unintended pregnancies. They learned about healthy relationships and sexual consent, about substance misuse and the effect of the drugs in their bodies and minds. Teens know that they can go to Huckleberry to get friendly, confidential, bilingual, no-cost physical and mental health care services and care. For the sake of our young people, please join me in supporting Huckleberry Youth Programs. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Norma, and I am Eli Salinas Galvez's mom, and I'm here to talk to you about how Huckleberry has helped my family. We first heard of Huckleberry through Eli's counselor at school, and when I first heard about it, I thought it was just what we needed at the time. Eli had been struggling in school. He wasn't going to his classes, and he was having a hard time staying focused and really staying motivated. I think Huckleberry has given him that support that he needs, not only the academic support, but also that emotional, social component that I think is really key for kids. I also really think that having that social connection, that social part of the program where they go out on outings and they go out in the beginning part of the program of how they start their summer, I think is really helpful and really helped him be interested in the program and also get to know the other kids. One of the things, the most, I think that really sticks out to me when I think of how Huckleberry has helped our family is therapy. I think the perspective on therapy and also the benefits of how therapy has helped Eli, meeting with someone one-on-one weekly, and having that space for him to talk, to vent, to open up. And it really changed his perspective on therapy, and it also allowed him to really look at therapy in a different way. In the beginning, I remember, or before, I remember bringing up therapy to him before, and it would almost bring him to the verge of tears. So the fact that therapy was such a positive experience for him through Huckleberry really allowed him to accept it and to view it differently and to see the benefits of it. So I really think, and thank you for helping them in that way. I also think that it's really helpful for case managers and for the staff to be able to check in with the youth and also check in with the parents. So they serve kind of as a liaison or a kind of a middle point person. And I think that it's really helpful because I feel like as a parent, sometimes it's hard to be consistent and it's hard to be on top of and giving them reminders without sounding like you're nagging or bothering them. And I think that having that third person, that voice of reason, or that other perspective where they can come in and be like, and he's open to that. So that is really helpful for us. So I just want to say that Huckleberry, I really, really believe and so grateful and that we have Huckleberry, a program like Huckleberry in our lives, and also the people that make up Huckleberry also bring so much to the table. They are committed, they care, and you can really tell that when they speak to their youth and when they work with their families. So thank you so much. And we look forward to another year at Huckleberry, and I think one of the things that I forgot to mention is that his transition over to high school too has really helped us.
Hello, my name is Denise Coleman, and I am Huckleberry's Director of Youth Justice. I've worked for Huckleberry for over 20 years, and within those 20 years, I've seen a lot of hard work being done for our young people that are finding their way in life. As the Director of Youth Justice, I am fortunate and lucky enough to work with two incredible managers that actually oversee the day-to-day operations of Huckleberry's CARC, which is our juvenile justice diversion program for young people to get arrested, and also Project Ready, which is our school-based case management program with intensive case management and home visits and therapeutic services, all in an effort, both programs, all in an effort to provide our young people with what they need to stay on the right track, stay on a track, to make different decisions that are in their best interest. And all throughout Huckleberry has been an agency that has embraced social justice going way back to its inception in 1967 when the police raided Huckleberry House to arrest the staff for harboring teenagers. Up to when CARC started 20 years ago, where we were the first juvenile justice diversion program in San Francisco that dealt with young people at the front end of the system instead of once they got deeply ingrained into it. And now we are at a place where we are at the forefront of juvenile justice change in San Francisco. And we're at the forefront because Huckleberry believes that our young people do not need to be in jail. They need to be surrounded by caring adults that are going to walk their talk and is going to lead by example, that is going to be reliable, dependable, that's going to surround them with support and love and new and different opportunities, and that are going to stick with them regardless. And that is the entire concept and value of Huckleberry, is that we stick with our young people no matter what. And if they decide that they no longer need our services, and we say to them, okay, we can end this here and now, but to always know the door is open and you always have a place to come, to talk to people, someplace for shelter. And we are that organization. Huckleberry also is, oh God, okay, give me a few minutes. At Huckleberry, we also don't only provide those services to our young people because of all the social unrest and the racial separation and divisiveness that's happening in our society right now. Huckleberry's worked really hard to maintain a culture within the agency that's open, that's transparent, that we can talk about whatever the issues are. And we may not come up with a solution, but we're open enough to have that dialogue and to support the staff with trying to figure it out, whatever that is. I am so honored and so proud to work at Huckleberry. I must be. I've been here for 20 years, right? Huckleberry's an amazing place. We have amazing staff. I tell people all the time that I believe with all of our programs that we could touch the life of every young person in San Francisco with the clinic and counseling and the shelter, and case management and intensive school-based services. And I mean, all the elements that any young person would need in their life to be successful, to be productive, to find their way. Again, to find their way. We were once described by one of our deputy sheriffs as Michelangelo, describing the kids that come here as angels in the rock, because they were kids that people had given up on, and that no one, because of their mistake and because of the fact that they got arrested, that it made life more challenging for them in school, more challenging for them in their social arena, more challenging for them in front of the juvenile justice system. And so Michelangelo was rolling this big boulder up the hill, and the people were like laughing at him and, making fun of him and just, saying, why are you rolling this big rock up the hill? There's nothing, it's just a rock. And as we all know, as he etched his signature into those rocks, they became absolutely amazingly famous and fabulous etchings. And that's what he did. He made, and the deputy would say, we made angels out of rocks. And so I think that's very appropriate for the work that we do as an agency. Whatever is needed, however we can provide it, whenever it's needed, we are here to support our young people, to support each other, and to make sure that the kids in San Francisco don't feel like every time they make a mistake or they're having a hard time, that they're going to be punished to the extent that they have to be put in jail. Jail is not for our children. Jail is for those, for other people. It's not for our children, though. It is not for our children. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the festivities. And I will be seeing you soon. Bye.
Huckleberry Youth, congratulations on 53 years of fighting for justice. I'm Hillary Ronan, District 9 Supervisor, and just wanted to say a few words of how much I appreciate your extraordinary work. We would not have been able to make historic strides in San Francisco by closing Juvenile Hall if it wasn't for the incredible work of Huckleberry Youth. The CARC program, the way you divert children and kids and young people away from the criminal justice system and into community programming that really understands struggles that youth have and the best ways to push people down a different path and into a positive future. What would we do without you in San Francisco? We love you. We appreciate you. Keep doing the incredible work that you're doing for the next 53 years. And I certainly will be there supporting you every step of the way. Congratulations.
Hi, this is Supervisor Shaman Walton, Supervisor District 10 here in San Francisco. And I just want to celebrate Huckleberry Youth Programs for their virtual event this year. Of course, I wish I could be there in person with all of you celebrating all of your work on juvenile justice reform, your work to provide alternatives for young people so that we can lead them on the path to success. Huckleberry has been right there making sure that we do everything we can to provide these alternatives to incarceration, bringing our children and young people to a place where they have an opportunity to thrive, learn from their mistakes, and grow. I want to thank Huckleberry Youth Programs for all of their service and dedication to our youth. I know that this work is going to continue for generations to come. I'm a proud supporter of Huckleberry Youth Programs, thankful for all of your dedication and hard work, and look forward to celebrating again next year in person. Congratulations. I'm wishing you a wonderful virtual event.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Mena Flores. I use she, hers, and ellas pronouns. I was part of the 2013 Huckleberry Wellness Academy graduating class back in Marin County. I joined Huckleberry Youth Programs back in 2009 as a high school freshman. Every day after school, I always looked forward to attending Huckleberry because of their free, yummy snacks, as I was always hungry after a long day of school. I struggled a lot in math and English, specifically my writing, but with the support of Huckleberry, I was able to receive the tutoring I needed to excel in these classes, and it was all free. Along the lines, growing up undocumented, I did not have the tools to think college was possible for me. My mom was always working in order to provide food for my sister and I. And as the oldest grandchild, there were no role models growing up that I could seek for advice on how to navigate the college process. However, coming into Huckleberry as an undocumented high school student, I never thought college would be possible for me. Many times I didn't think I was ever going to pursue a higher education, as there were many barriers that made it much more challenging for me to apply due to my legal status. Huckleberry did provide me with the tools and resources that allowed me to not only apply to colleges, but also made the college process a lot more easier. With the support of Huckleberry, I was able to tour many universities and apply to the California Dream Act. Huckleberry was able to provide me with the insight and ensure I seek financial aid, resources such as scholarships, grants, which I learned was free money. I didn't have to pay back. But overall, regardless of the many obstacles I faced during my undergrad journey, in 2017, I actually graduated from Sonoma State University and obtained my degree in sociology with a Spanish minor. I'm the first in my family to obtain a higher education. And it was all because of Huckleberry that I was able to complete my BA and also continue to push forward to pursue my master's in higher education, student affairs. And so currently I serve as the undocumented graduate student specialist at the University of California, Berkeley, and where I mentor and advise undocumented graduate students. Thank you, Huckleberry, for believing in me and for planting that seed into the professional I currently am. Thank you.
God, thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank you so much, and good night.